Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is, gosh, what is today? Today is Wednesday. Time flies when you're having fun. So we got a couple of stories to cover. Argo, Bit Digital, and Iris Energy provided their May production updates. We'll take a look at those. Two are pretty, not well, they're not pretty bad. They're not bad. They're not good. One is actually pretty good. But we do also have some news from Argo as far as who they're going to be partnering with to make their Intel ASIC miners for them. So we'll get into that as well. Look at that. We'll obviously look at Bitcoin, the miners, see how they did today, and then we'll get into the production updates. So as always, you know the drill, not financial advice. I'm investing in the following coins and companies for full disclosure, and let's get into it here. So here is Bitcoin on the daily chart right now. We are at $30,065, $60 or so right now. Still not looking good on the daily chart right now. If we look at the RSI here, where we are right now, about 46. Last time we were right around here. The price of Bitcoin at that time it closed at 30,433. We are obviously at 30,066 right now. So we're down. RSI is the same, which obviously leads me to believe that we're going to be probably going down a little bit more in the coming days, 2 weeks possibly. Looking at the 1 hour chart right now, we're kind of, let's see here, RSI is at 43. Last time we were here was down here, and obviously prices come down from that as well. So kind of the same scenario here as well on the 1 hour chart that we're looking at. We're kind of in the middle territory, so I do think we're going to probably end up going down a little bit. We may go up, but I think eventually we're going to be going down in the long run. Ethereum is at 1,776 right now, and it is pretty much doing everything that Bitcoin is, following suit. And that's why we kind of look at Bitcoin first to see where it's going, because that obviously dictates where the miners are going, everything else that's in this space. All right, so let's take a look at the miners here. So any Sphere 3D was down today 0.97 to $1.02, down a little bit more in the after hours to $1.01. Argo was actually up today 4.18% to 63 cents. Bit Digital was down 1.2% to $1.65, up a little bit in the after hours to $1.70. Bitfarms was down 2.66 to $1.83, up a little bit in the after hours to $1.87. Cleanspark was down 1.62 to $5.46, down a little bit more in the after hours to $5.40. Core Scientific was up 3.52% to $2.65, down a little bit in the after hours to $2.61. Digihost was down 4.86 to $1.76. DMG was down 2.45% to 28 cents. Hive was down 4.17% to $3.91. Hut 8 was down 5.29% to $2.15, up a little bit in the after hours to $2.16. Iris Energy was up 1.52% to $5.33, down quite a bit in the after hours to $5.09. Luxxfolio was up 8.44% to 17 cents. Marathon was down 1.84% to $8.53, up a little bit in the after hours to $8.54. Mawson was up 1.88% to $2.17, up a little bit in the after hours to $2.20. Riot was down 3.24% to $5.97, and it's up a little bit in the after hours. It looks like, we're looking at the 1 day chart, it looks like we hit a new 52-week low on it on Riot here at 582. It looks like, where is it? 52-week low, 582. Yeah, yesterday we reached it, looks like. And then Stronghold is at $2.71, so it's down 2.52%, but it's up in the after hours to $2.80 right now. All right, so that's the miners, kind of a mixed bag here on the day, considering that Bitcoin was kind of doing not too bad today. Let's get into the news here. So Argo Blockchain provides their May 2022 operational update. And during the month of May, Argo mined 124 Bitcoin or Bitcoin equivalents together, compared to 166 BTC in April in 2022. The reduction in BTC mined is attributable to several factors, and they go into the factors here. So the Bitcoin network experienced an increase in difficulty, leading to fewer BTC mined. Okay, which is fine, we get that. The company's hash rate on TerraPool produced substantially lower Bitcoin than in previous months, primarily due to short-term probabilistic outcomes. I'm not sure what that word means. have to look that up. The company continues to explore all options to optimize its hash rate across alternative pools. So it looks like they're not happy with Terra Pool. High temperatures in Texas led to increased energy demand and high electricity prices, to which the company responded by voluntarily curtailing mining operations and reducing its energy usage at Helios. So on that one, I'm surprised that they don't have a set price guarantee with Epcot, one of their providers there. I'm surprised that they're getting dinged for higher prices when demand is up. Usually the miners try to secure set pricing for them, so I'm surprised they haven't done that. But yeah, just don't know enough about that yet. And the company faced some limited instances of unplanned downtime at Helios while bringing the new facility online. So that's acceptable. That's fine. You're building out and everything else. You're going to have some downtime while you do electrical connections. But as of May 31st, the company held 2,379 Bitcoin. So it looks like they sold some. We'll get into it. Of which 187 were BTC equivalents. And here's the Helios update. So by the end of May, the company had increased its hash rate capacity by 300 petahash to 1.9 exahash. So this is actually really good news. They're actually starting to get miners installed, running, operating, where they've been pretty much flat for the last couple of months as far as hash rate has been concerned. This is actually really good news. Let me see here. Also, Argo Blockchain is pleased to confirm that the installation of the 20,000 miners purchased from Bitmain is anticipated to be completed by October 2022. So this is really good. So they're going to be getting a lot of miners over the next couple months here. And then we got finally this news here. Epic Blockchain Technologies partnership update. So the company is also pleased to provide the following update on its collaboration with Epic. Argo has executed a purchase agreement for 6,600 custom mining machines with a right to place additional orders for up to 23,400. So that would get them up to 30,000 machines. The machines will utilize the Intel ASIC block scale chips, for which the company previously signed the supply agreement with Intel. The custom machines will be designed to Argo specifications to optimize mining performance and efficiency for use at a Helios facility, which uses immersion cooling to seek to prolong the life of the machines and increase operating performance. So this is actually really good news. So it looks like they are actually getting things set up. As far as custom machines, my thoughts on it are, obviously they won't have the fans in place because you're putting in immersion cooling, you don't need the fans. So that's a reduction there. I think they can also reduce on some of the metal casing that's usually around those machines. You can probably make them a lot, maybe even thinner, smaller. You can probably do bigger cutouts. That way you're not using as much metal. You can possibly do other ways of even doing the machines themselves, where the ASIC boards are basically open. Instead of being completely enclosed, you could just have a bottom that's holding them in place somehow. So there's different ways you could do that, obviously, with putting it into immersion cooling. So that's kind of interesting to see what they're going to come up with. But those are my thoughts on that. Let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them, and then we'll take a look at, why don't we look at Epic right now, and then we'll get into the numbers for blockchain, for Argo. So Epic, I wanted to kind of take a look at them, see who they are. So they are North American. They make basically North American designed ASIC rigs with over 130 years of combined experience. We are a team of highly experienced ASIC and systems engineers focused on bringing profitable altcoin miners to you. So obviously they have a little bit of experience. They do have the SC200, which mines the SIA coin. And here is a little bit about them. So Epic's end-to-end system philosophy covers architecture, planning, specifications development, Verilog coding, FPGA validation, logic synthesis, circuit board design, firmware and driver development, RTL/GDS2, handoff, supplier qualifications, and semiconductor supply chain management. We've delivered industry-leading semiconductors for companies like Sony, Nintendo, AMD, ATI, Google, Microsoft, Qualcomm, and many more who have all benefited from Epic's expertise in high performance, parallel processing, and power efficiency. So this was kind of interesting that they have obviously done business with all of these companies, pretty reputable companies. And then if we look at their partners right now, so obviously their partners are Sapphire, Luxor Mining, Cadence, Xilinx. Xilinx also makes the controller boards for, I believe, some of the, if not Bitmain even, I think, Bitmain miners. Synapsys, L-chip, SPIL, and obviously TSMC is a big one there. And then their customers Argo, I was surprised by Core Scientific and Soluna. So those are the ones listed here. So it's kind of interesting to see. If you look at their homepage right now, this is the miner that they're selling right now, the SC200, which mines on the SIA network. And it's at $2,000 right now. Don't know how much they're selling it, but they are selling it right now. Also, let's take a look at their team here really quick. So you picked Tim, Earl May, and Jim Seto. And we got some other engineers here. Engineer, we got a bunch of engineers. So Earl has helped design some of the most popular semiconductors, including Radeon and PlayStation's 4 or 5 GPUs. With 17 plus years of high performance computer design experience, he is now focused on blockchain innovation. So obviously a pretty good track record there. Jim is bringing order and operational excellence to the blockchain hardware space, having managed supply of 6 billion chips yearly at Qualcomm. Okay, wow. Successful company-wide engineering and operational transformations such as COT implementations and asset-light strategies. So pretty good backgrounds here as far as I can tell on Epic. So I think we'll have to see, obviously, but I think Argo did a good job possibly picking these guys up. But we'll see what they deliver and what the cost on it is. As we know, Intel is going to be only just supplying the chips. They have to come up with the ASIC boards to hold them, the supply board as well, and then obviously you need the power supply, everything else that goes along with it. So this looks pretty good. This looks legit. All right, let's take a look at Argo's numbers, and then we'll get into the rest of the details here. So Argo provided us with the May update. Also, you guys may notice something a little bit different here. I updated this a little bit to make it a little bit more cohesive as far as the information is presented to you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy it. That way I'm hoping I'm not, going up and down on the page looking for the information I want to provide to you. I kind of put it all, hopefully in a little bit more, not a robust way, but more of a cohesive way. So BTC for May was 124 that they mined. April was obviously 166. Now we're also being able to calculate how many basically BTCs they're mining per petahash. So in May they mined 0.065, which was obviously pretty bad. April was about 0.10. Same thing for March. February was 0.84. They obviously had a dip there in production, and in January they had 0.10. So on average they're about 0.10 something, 0.103, 0.104, somewhere right around there on average on it. Value for that production of Bitcoin 124 is 3,941,000 roughly, using the Bitcoin price that I'm using for the end of May. So it's obviously a decrease of 42 less Bitcoins than prior month, or a 25% decrease. That I'm sure is going to increase with the miners getting installed and activated in June and going forward. So that number should get a lot better going forward for them. BTC HODL is 2,379. In April, they reported 2,682. So that's 303 less. So it looks like they sold about 303 Bitcoins for operations. And while we're kind of talking about BTC and companies selling them now, I can recall probably it was towards the end of last year, 2021, I said, or I didn't say, I've always made the case that I think the miners should be selling part of their BTC HODL position. I don't think they should be HODLing all, because we do have these cycles in Bitcoin. So at times you might sell it at 30,000, where if they were selling it back then, or at least a portion of it, I think it would have evened it out a little bit. I don't think they would have had to sell as much now as they did. Same thing with, we saw it with Core Scientific. They sold like 1,500 Bitcoins or something like that in the last period in May, basically from April. So had they, what's the word I'm looking for? Had they planned for it, I think, and also if that was part of their plan to sell a portion of the Bitcoin. So if you make 100 Bitcoins, sell 25 of them, keep the rest, or 30 Bitcoin, keep the rest, whatever. But as long as you're doing that monthly, I think you're gonna have a much better outcome as far as how much money you're generating from that than holding, and then, oh crap, we need money, we gotta sell. And then you're selling a lot more than you would really have to sell because the price has come down on Bitcoin. So I would really strongly recommend for those miners and everybody to kind of think about that. Sell some, obviously hodl the rest if you want to, but I think keeping it and then selling it when you really don't want to sell it is not the best strategy in my opinion. Let me know what you guys think of that. But that's just my opinion on that. I think would probably work out better for them. So we know that they're down on that. Current hash rate, we're at 1.9 exahash roughly that they reported. I have them at 1.906. Future hash rate is at 4, but obviously they're going to be getting those ASIC miners from Intel. We don't know what the hash rate is going to be based on when they get into immersion cooling. I think Intel reported they're going to be like 135 terahash or something like that. That you could in theory do, but depending on how many chips they put on the board, and obviously with immersion cooling, that's going to have an effect on it as well. You're probably going to have a 20 to 25, maybe even 30% gain in hash rate as well, which would be pretty big. You're looking at maybe 150 terahash or a little bit more per miner then. So we just don't know what that's going to be. Once we get some more news on that, we'll update the numbers here as well and get into that. Right now, they're obviously trading at 61 cents. So we got a market cap of 276 million. Right now, their BTC hodl is about 26% of that. They are obviously trading at about a price earnings multiple of 4 right currently, based on what I'm seeing here for them as far as the numbers are concerned. So we're looking at the last 3 quarters, and then the current quarter, we're looking at about 17 right now. They got a pretty big dip here in May. I think June should be closer to this, depending where the price of Bitcoin is right now. But if Bitcoin stays where it's at right now, so along with hash rate, this is what they're looking to make in June. That would get us to about 18 million or so. So that leaves us to be at, if we go up, I think they should be going up at least 12 to 15. They should be at $1.88 to $2.20 to $2.35 on the price of their stock, based on 75% net income from gross revenue, as always on that. And then here are the miners that we installed for them in May. So we got these 3,000 miners of the end miners, 100 terahash miners. Those are being installed. So those are going to be going forward. And then obviously we're going to be adding another, I probably should update that. I think that should be 17,000 because they were 20,000 and I took out. There we go. 17,000. So that'll get us to, if they do by October, I think, as they said, you're looking at, we're in June right now. So June, July, August, September, October, we got 5 months. You're looking at basically installing about 3,000 miners a month if they get the shipments in on time and everything else. So good growth for them coming up. And then obviously we'll see when the Epic miners get created, shipped, and installed, and we'll see how many of those they actually get. Institution-wise, we had a little bit dip in the institutions to 40. Actually, I didn't update their institution, so I apologize for that. Let's take a look at it really quick here, and then we'll get back into it. But Argo. Institutions, 52, and then we had them at 45. So institutions actually increased on that. 68 million shares is what we had here, and they're at 71. So they actually had an increase of shares, percentage owned. Analyst ratings, we got 1 strong buy and 2 buys. And so that's actually 1 less here than we had prior. And then the price, $3.38 to $2.338. So that's actually an increase in price. So that's a good sign as well right there for anybody that's looking to invest in Argo possibly. All right, so that's it. That's it for Argo. I think we've covered everything here. I'm hoping you guys like the new setup on this. I'm hoping that it makes it a little bit quicker for us to get through these a little bit too. That way I'm not rambling on here. All right, let's take a look at the next one here, which is Bit Digital. So Bit Digital is having issues. Let's take a look at it here. Corporate highlights for May 2022. In May 2022, the company earned 53.4 Bitcoins and 27 Ethereums. Treasury holdings of BTC and Ethereum were 793 and 316 of Ethereum, respectively. The company owned 33,376 Bitcoin miners and 731 Ethereum miners as of May 31, 2022, with an estimated maximum total hash rate of 2.17 exahash and 3 terahash of Ethereum, respectively. But here's the thing. During the month of May and subsequent to month end, the company continued to work with our hosting partners to deploy miners 17.9 of our currently owned fleet, or 6,114 Bitcoin miners, and 0 Ethereum miners representing 3.52 exahash and 0 terahash, respectively, was deployed in North America as of May 31st, 2022. So they obviously had miners that were shut down for one reason or another. I believe they may have some miners that were being hosted by one of the companies that had the power plant or the substation explode in Niagara Falls, New York. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe that's the case, and that's the reason for it. So let's take a look at the numbers that I have for them, and we'll go from there. So obviously, 53.4 Bitcoins mined. We had 76 the month prior. They were pretty efficient as far as their mining was per petahash. They were at 0.132. This month they've obviously come down to 0.11. And it obviously represents about a 1.7 million in revenue that they generated. It's 22 less Bitcoins from the prior month, almost 30% less, which is a big decrease obviously for them. And BTC HODL is 793. But let's take a look at where we are here with everything. So March, April, May, I basically had to, here's what I did. In the previous videos you guys might have seen, I had this at the combined number here, which was 7,710. I had to split this up a little bit because they reported as having only 6,114 miners running. And when I had that by itself, I could not get it to the 1.7 million roughly in revenue. The only way I could do that was having some of these miners here running for about 18 days or so. I also had to take out the Ethereum mining to zero, basically, income, because they reported zero. That's the only way I could get it to that number. And then obviously going into June, we're only at that 300. I think they reported 352. I'm at 362. So I'm a little bit higher on it from that, but they reported 6,114 miners running. So obviously not good for them. They're having a heck of a time trying to get miners installed through hosting partners. The year prior, they were based mostly in China. After the China ban, they were scrambling to obviously get the miners over to the North America and other parts possibly. And they've just been having a hell of a time trying to get these miners installed, which is unfortunate because they're just sitting around. They're not making anything on those miners that aren't being installed or being utilized right now. I think they did report that they have all the miners here in the United States, but correct me if I'm wrong on that. They're just looking to get them into hosting providers. So we'll see how this one plays out. It's obviously not good for them. And then looking at the numbers here, we're looking at right now about 363 petahash. I think they reported 352, so I'm a little bit high on it. Future hash rate about 2.8. They're about 13% operational right now. Stock price is $1.65. Market cap, I'm surprised that the market cap is that high, 521 million for them. It seems like they are way overvalued right now, based on what they are making. And I think it's because of the problems that they are having. But I think right now, investors are, or at least the investors were, betting on them getting the miners installed relatively quickly and getting to that 2.8 exahash pretty fast. I don't know how fast it's going to happen now. But currently, at least, I think it's Yahoo Finance that's showing us that they're at 20.8 price change multiple. They should be like with the other miners. They should be closer to possibly around 2 or so. Even at 5, they would be at 72 cents right now, based on what they're just making for the last 3 quarters and the current quarter that we're looking at right now. So they are, in my opinion, right now, way overvalued from where they should be, which is kind of strange. They're about the only miner that's overvalued right now that I'm covering. Everybody else is undervalued. So I can't figure it out. If you guys know a reason why, am I missing something? Please let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear it. But yeah, I just can't figure out why their stock price is so high and along with their market cap right now, unless something's off in my numbers here, which could be the case. Let me know. But yeah, that's it. And then institution-wise, institutions have decreased to 83 from 92. Shares was at 10.9 million, and percent owned dropped to 3.5%. Let's take a look at that. I don't know if I did that wrong, but digital institutions, 3.5%. Yeah, 31% drop. So we're right there. We have one buy rating. Price is now at $4 compared to $14. So it looks like some analysts have obviously rethought the situation here with them and obviously taken it down. So I wouldn't be surprised if the price of their stock continues to possibly fall in the next a couple weeks, 2 months, until they get things kind of figured out here. But that's it. Yeah, it's a shame right now. Like I said, I think it's overvalued. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. So let's go to the next one. Last one is Iris Energy. Iris Energy. Why they always provide a lot of pictures. So Iris Energy Limited announces monthly investor update for May 2022. And here we got some figures. Mackenzie miners installed in the first 20 megawatt data center. Internal fit out of the first 20, same thing. Prince George structural steel erected for the first 20 megawatt data center. Prince George, Childress, site construction office and entrance. Site civil work is ongoing, so it looks like they're digging some stuff there. And then Raven's Nest, I don't know why they got that. Mackenzie Spring Exposition, chart 1, daily average operating hash rate. It looks like they dipped a little bit here towards the middle of the month or so. So record average operating hash rate to 1.165 exahash, a 12% increase, which is really good. So they did pretty good this month. Mackenzie is 1.5 exahash and Prince George 1.4 remain on track for Q3 of 2022. So another 2.9 exahash will be added in around Q3, which is good. So here's the key highlights. Average operating hash rate, 1,165. Bitcoin mined was 151. Mining revenue, about 4.8 million. Electrical cost was about 1.4 million. So that's about 20 some odd percent, almost 30%, 24%, I think, something like that on it. So it's not too bad. And so I was looking to see if there's anything else that's interesting in here, but there isn't. Just a bunch of updates on the sites that they're working on, which is good. Yeah, there's nothing else in here that's really important other than just updates. So this is all fine. There's not much change as far as planned or anything that I could see. All right, let's take a look at my numbers really quick on Iris, and we'll call it a day. So obviously, 151 Bitcoin mined in May compared to 137 in April, which is good. The only thing that I'm noticing here is for some reason, their BTC mined per petahash has been decreasing over the months here. We did have a really good month in January where they mined about 0.15 BTC per petahash. Then we got 0.13, 0.14, 0.13. Now we're down to 0.12. So that's a little strange. And looking at the miners here, the miners are pretty much, almost top of the line miners here. You got some 90 terahash, but mostly 1,000 terahash. So we'll have to see how that plays out going forward. And we're looking at about 4.8 million in revenue. It is an increase of 14 BTC over the prior month and a 10% increase. And they have pretty much, except for the month of February, which was obviously a shorter month, for the most part, they have been increasing their Bitcoin production consistently over the last couple months here. So that's always good to see as well. So we got that. BTC HODL, obviously they don't HODL anything, which is kind of good. They're obviously not diluting their shares. We have 55 million shares out. Price is 533, market cap of 293 million. And that basically represents that they are trading at about a price to earnings multiple of 7 from 75% net income from gross revenue. I'm at 571. You're looking probably around 6.5 PE that they're trading at right now. But with their growth, since they're only 7.76% installed right now from the future hash rate of 15 exahash, I'm not surprised that they are trading at that. I think they are trading higher than most of the miners that I cover here as far as price to earnings multiple currently. And that is because I do think that because they are so low installed right now, and their growth is basically 14x or so on their growth. That's why they're getting more of a premium, I believe, on their stock price. But given that, I think once Bitcoin starts ramping up, I don't have a problem with them being at around 20 price to earnings multiple. So that would give them basically a 3x from the price from where it's at right now to 16, and it could probably be even higher depending on how high Bitcoin goes. I mean, we could see even like a 30 price to earnings multiple where they get a $25 stock price possibly. And it all depends on what they're making, and then that will change as well. But right now they are at about 7 or so. So that's fine. That's all good. They're doing pretty. I think they're doing great actually. They're increasing their BTC every month. That's all great. We did install some miners here in May, and that was the 1,410 miners, 90 terahash miners, and that obviously got us to the 1.165 that they reported. So we're on track there. That's good. And they obviously still have a lot of miners to install here. They probably won't finish up until probably this time next year sometime with getting all these miners installed if everything goes well for them. Looking at the institutions did dip a little bit to 9.2 million shares to 16.8% being owned from 18.22. We did get one more analyst rating here. So we have 1 strong, 4 buys, 1 hold. And the price did come down a little bit to $27. So with the $27, that would be like a 30 PE price to earnings multiple on that one, to 18 and the 14 for a low. So obviously quite a significant drop in the low from 22 to 14. But yeah, overall, great job by Iris. As long as they continue to grow with the way that they are growing, which I have no reason to believe that they won't be, these guys could be really good investment going forward. All right, so that's it. That's all I got for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys thought of it, and if I made any mistakes, obviously let me know. But yeah, we still got a couple more miners that have to report. Let's see, who do we have left? Let's take a look at that. We still have Miners Weekly. So we just had Argo. Argo is done. BitDigital is done. So we got Mawson, Marathon. I still haven't seen Marathon, which is surprising. But we got Mawson, Marathon, and Luxxfolio, it looks like. And then we'll see if we get anything from Stronghold. Stronghold, I think, might be the holdout here. I think they may now report monthly for quite some time. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, spreadsheets available to my Patreon members. Thank you to my Patreon members for their support. Greatly appreciate it. And the usual spiel. If you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. That's all I ask. Have a wonderful evening, you guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then.